everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and I'm a bit under the weather. Olivia and I have both gotten just a nasty cold. It just clogs us up, so she's feeling much better, and now I'm getting it. So I sound terrible, and I am wearing makeup, but you probably could still tell. Like, I'm really red all around here. I've been blowing my nose a ton. I'm just super nasally and congested, so I apologize for that. I haven't been filming all that much the last week, dealing with her being sick and then me being sick. And I don't know why my hair looks so huge today, but I got super fluffy hair today. It's just a mess today, but I really wanted to get this video filmed. I've got thoughts on my mind about this no spend, and we made it one more month. If you are doing the no spend, congratulations for making it another month with me. I feel pretty good about it at this point. I had a lot of other things on my mind this month, and so I wasn't really in a shopping mindset anyway. But I think it also helps knowing that I can't really buy a whole lot. Basically, once I got my foundation and a couple of things with that, I showed that in a vlog. After that, I was kind of done. I really didn't get a whole lot other than that. And I had included some of my YouTube excess earnings in with my allowance money. So I get $25 standard. And then with that extra from the YouTube stuff, it was $49.42. And I pretty much used it all. And most of it wasn't on stuff, which I was actually surprised looking back at the numbers. So that was good to see. I'm not just adding extra junk to the pile. I'm getting my use out of the money in different ways. So I want to walk through what I actually spent the money on, then talk about my thoughts about the no spend being 2 months into it. So first up, I mailed 2 prizes this month, and it cost about $9. I took that out of my allowance because it wasn't a householding type of thing. And then I also bought some little heart measuring spoons. They're little ceramic heart measuring spoons, and they're super cute. They were in the Valentine's Day section at our grocery store, and they were $3.97. I also did go to Starbucks, and I did take Olivia with me, and she ended up getting a cake pop and a banana, and their bananas cost like $1.25, which I was really surprised. I can get a whole bunch of bananas for like $1. But she really wanted the banana. I wasn't about to say no when she's wanting something healthy. So I ended up spending $5.40 at Starbucks, and I had already had like $4 or $5 on my app. So I wasn't actually planning to spend much above what my app had, but she was with me and I got her some stuff. It was my allowance money, but technically it wasn't even for me for the most of it. I also got a couple of watercolor paint brushes for my iPad. They're just brushes for the Procreate app, and they cost $5. And then the rest was just eating out. I had a couple of things with girlfriends. I ended up having what we called a Galentine's Day brunch. We had a few play dates with friends this month, and one of those was at a restaurant. So we did end up buying lunch, and I'm counting Olivia and my lunch in with my own allowance. So most of my stuff wasn't actually stuff. That wasn't all just stuff for me. I spent $8.97 on actual stuff, the watercolor brushes and the measuring spoons. I spent about $9 out of the $49 on actual stuff, and that's not bad at all. I did get my foundation. I did end up getting a hand sanitizer and a couple of primers, and it was $55.64 on that Ulta gift card, and so I still have quite a bit left on that gift card. It was $100. I had a couple more makeup-y things on my list, but I'll tell you guys, I got the primers thinking, oh, this will be great, and I don't love them. I need to just stick with what I like and what I know and keep things simple. It was adding in an extra step. I didn't really like the feel of it, and I don't think it helped at all, like having the primer. So I think that was totally a fail for me. I'm not into the bunches of steps, and I was even thinking about adding a couple more steps into it, and now I'm just thinking I'll just stick with my CC cream, stick with what I know, the basics, and forget about all the other stuff. So that was kind of an eye-opening moment when I had spent the gift card money on the primers, and then I'm just kind of disappointed that I don't really like them. One thing I did in February was I listened to The Millionaire Next Door, and it is a little bit out of date. It's an older book, but it has so many stats about the millionaires in the United States, and it's really eye-opening actually. I was not expecting it to be so stat heavy. I thought it would really kind of outline the current millionaires, but it went into super duper depth on lots of categories, and I would recommend reading that book. It really talks about how the people who are actually millionaires, you probably wouldn't even know. They drive older cars. They don't live in the flashy houses in the flashy neighborhoods. The one thing is they do spend a lot on their children's education. So they do have their kids in private schools a lot of times. Other than that, it was like everything that they did was really like skimping on the money, being really frugal and wise with all their money choices. So it was really eye-opening to see that. That's not to say like high-income earners don't have a lot of money, because they do, but a lot of times they spend it all. And that's where the difference is between like those that retire millionaires and multimillionaires and those who struggle when they retire or barely scrape by when they retire. It was just interesting to read that perspective. One of the things I wanted to talk about in this video was free sources of books. There are a lot of free resources. First of all, libraries, like that's a duh, but a lot of libraries now use one of two apps. They either use Overdrive or they use Libby. They're both digital product rentals. So digital books, audiobooks, magazines. It's really, really cool. I get a lot of my books through my library's Overdrive app. Also, if you're into audiobooks, you can do an Audible free trial. I've done a few different free trials over the course of the years with Audible. I'm definitely not interested in actually signing up for Audible, because you pay whatever monthly fee it is and then you basically get one book a month, which to me is just not a great deal. Now, if you're paying for audiobooks outright, then it is a really good deal, because audiobooks can be very expensive. But if you're using like your library's free audiobook app, it seems really excessive to pay like $9 or $10 an audiobook when you've been getting them for free. And one other tip is look on YouTube. I think this is probably illegal that they post them on YouTube, but I have found a lot of free audiobooks on YouTube. There's a lot of ways to get access to free books. Also, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get to pick from a few new releases each month. There are like authors that I don't recognize usually, so I haven't really been using those very often, but I love using my library's Overdrive. I like to get audiobooks through that. It's just a very good money-saving method. As far as thoughts on the no-buy, I really thought that it would be harder than it is. Like the first month, I felt like it was really hard one of the weeks. And then since then, it hasn't been that hard. I've had a lot of other things on my mind. You know, Livy was sick, her birthday was coming up. That definitely distracted me from it. I haven't been bored. I think usually I have these moments of time where I'm bored and then I think about shopping and then I want to shop. Well, I haven't been very bored. I've been trying to keep myself busy with other things the last 2 months, and I think that's helped a lot. And just not being in that mindset keeps me away from shopping. Like I used to check Amazon.com for things all the time and add things to wish lists just all the time. I've got the app on my phone and I hardly ever check Amazon now. And it's totally a different experience than even just a month ago. I was still really in that mindset, and maybe things will shift back after we get through like these rounds of sickness. It feels like we've been sick on and off all month, so that probably has something to do with it. But overall, I'm just not thinking about it all that much. Even when I'm sitting there having some free time, my mind doesn't just automatically wander to that. So I'm getting out of that little mindset. I'm really happy with my level of spending this last month. Now, I will say we did go over on groceries and eating out. It was like $5 on eating out and then like $60 on groceries. And I was pretty disappointed to go over our budget, but at the same time, like being sick hit back to back. It's like we needed convenience foods. I didn't feel like cooking a lot, and we did the eating out and extra grocery runs as needed to just cover things. And okay, the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that big a deal. And I did say my rule for that is if I go over in those categories, I'll lose my allowance for the next month. So I'm gonna lose my March allowance and I don't really care. I'm at that point now, it's like, I don't have anything I really want to spend money on or anything. So I don't care to lose my allowance. It was worth it to me to buy the convenience foods when needed. Livy was home a few days earlier in the month and home again this last week, a couple of days, and we just needed things to be simple and easy while everybody's feeling under the weather, and I have no regrets. So we did go over, but it's okay. It is what it is, and I'll gladly give up my March allowance. But anyway, I think that's really all I have to say. It's been a totally game changer month. I just can't believe that I feel the way I do about the no spend, because it was harder in January and February's seeming lots easier. And now maybe things will change coming up in March when it starts warming up again. I might have more shopping urges. I don't really know, but I think my like makeup themed purchase urges are totally over now that I got the primer and then don't like it. I'm like, okay, this is why I don't want to obsess about things and buy them, because a lot of times they're just a letdown. I will say though, I love the foundation. It matches my skin really well. It's totally My Skin But Better, which is the name of the CC cream. It's called Your Skin But Better, and it looks great and I love it, and I'm so glad that I finally got it, but I could have totally done without the primer. I'm kind of disappointed that I splurged on it and then didn't end up really liking it. I feel like that's a really good representation of most things. Like you get them built up in your head and you're really excited about it and you buy it and then the reality sucks most of the time. So it was just another one of those lessons that I could have just saved myself the time and the effort and the money and just not gotten it and been fine. But I think that was like the final realization, like, okay, stop buying random junk and just use what you have and be happy with it and stop trying to find extra stuff. I think that is it. My voice is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like these no spend videos. I will try to have one of these again for you guys in April. And if you're doing the no spend with me, congratulations again for getting it through another month. I'd love to know how it's been going for you. If your mindset has changed a little bit, we are 2 months in, so we're making some progress. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day and I'll catch you next time. Bye.